Having said that, I just want to say a few words about who I am. For those of you who don't know me, I was born and raised out in Whitman County. Sort of a typical Vermont story. My older sister, who lives here in Burlington, went to UVM. My younger brother and I grew up on a dirt road in an old farmhouse. My parents started a small educational enterprise called Putney Student Travel. They were teachers. And it sends educational summer programs, community service projects, and academic programs all over the world. When I graduated from Wesleyan, I wanted nothing more than to find and reach the same dream that most UVM students, Castleton students, Johnson State students, and others have when they get finished school. I wanted to come back to Vermont, make a good living, raise my family. That's what I did. I convinced my little brother to do the same. We've been meeting the payroll, making things happen in southern Vermont and in this state ever since. And my goal as your governor will be to ensure that more Vermonters can have exactly that same experience. Go to school, make a living in Vermont, support your families, create great jobs. That will be my goal. Let's speak to the issue. Before I get specific, I just want to tell you a little about where I'm coming from. Educating our children is our single most important responsibility in a civilized democracy. And therefore, it is where we should put our resources. Now, where's my history? My 10 years as Senate President, my many years in the legislature, I have fought for educational policy that will put our children first. I have fought for an education funding formula that I've helped to write that is the most progressive in the country, that allows every student in Vermont to have access to the same educational opportunity regardless of what community they happen to have been born into. I'm proud of that system. I think it works, and as your governor, I will not beat on it, I will defend it, I will build it, and I'll work together in a partnership with our children, our teachers, our administrators, and our school boards to ensure that we build the best educational system in the country, as good as our school funding formula. Now, what's the difference between myself and the Republican you can choose from? Here's the difference. I believe that education needs to be strengthened. I will immediately end the war of words against our teachers, against our children, against our administrators, and work in a partnership with our educators to help solve difficult problems. I understand the difference between choosing a school and the school choice being advocated by the person that I hope to be running against. I understand the difference between church and state. I will not support, as Lieutenant Governor does, a policy that imposes school choice on Vermont, including religious schools, and I do not live under the deception that I understand the United States Constitution better than others. I will respect the United States Constitution. I don't think that we can use taxpayer money to support religious schools as Mr. Doobie does. There's a difference between us. Let me just say a word about where we need to go. As governor, the first thing I will do is put together a partnership for Vermont's future to ensure that we have the best educational system in the country. What will that include? It'll include 4 components. The first starts with early education. Listen, right now, the biggest area of growth in our state budget, the second biggest, is not healthcare, that's the first. It's prisons. Now, there's a direct relationship, believe it or not, between the $40 to $50 to $60 to $70,000 a year that we're spending to lock up the biggest non-violent population of prisoners in the country. That's our distinction as Vermonters. There's a correlation between that and our lack of support for making early education an equal partner in our educational enterprise. My first job will be to join the Business Roundtable, the good work that Lisa Ventress and others are doing across Vermont, to make Vermont the first state in the country that treats early education as an equal partner in our educational process. There's two reasons to do that. One, we'll have better outcomes. Second, we won't be locking up those children that aren't ready when they get to school later on in the process, and don't doubt that we are. What do we know about our nonviolent offenders in prison? Those that we can't afford, so we send them out of state because we can't keep them here. We've got too many of them. We've got great growth there. We're losing our school population, we're growing them in prisons. What do you know about those people? Two things you should know. 97% of them had difficulty learning how to read. 97% of them still have some difficulty reading. Wow. What else do we know? 96% have drug and alcohol-related issues. That should tell us something. As governor, I will work in a partnership with you to make Vermont a leader in early childhood education. Second, the second part of the Partnership for Vermont's Future is healthcare. Listen, we will create the Green Mountain Healthcare Plan. In partnership with the federal government, we can be the first state in the country where healthcare follows the individual, it's not provided by the employer. I believe that we must achieve that. How's that related to education? Two facts you should know. 6% of our spending right now on healthcare, when the governor came into office 8 years ago, the Douglas Dewey team, we were spending 6% of our school budgets on healthcare. As they leave, we will be spending 12%. That's what we're spending today. Put another way, our student enrollment, our student count in Vermont has dropped 1% a year for the last 8 years that they've been in office. At the same time that our healthcare costs have risen 9% a year for 8 years. We can and must do better. We've got to get that off the backs of our school boards, start transferring the property tax, and create a healthcare system that we can believe in. Third, we will outline a series of tools in this partnership that will help us to achieve our goals. Very quickly, distance learning will be expanded so that when schools are downsized, we, the state, provide the best distance learning in our program to give our teachers and our school boards the help they need to cut costs. Two, there will be a huge increase in grants made available to communities to help them consolidate at their own choice, their own pace, and their own rhythm. Third, we will provide further grants for the principal and administration training. Right now we have Tina Muncie down at the Department of Ed doing a great job. That program will be expanded drastically. It won't be one person, but we will get you the help you need for innovation and support. Fourth, the main model of a laptop on every 6th through 8th grader's desk will be achieved. They will take it home and we'll be getting them trained in technology to create jobs and help them function in the job economy of the new economy that we're going to. And finally, I will put an end to the endless mandates that come down from Montpelier that require teachers to do paperwork instead of educating our kids. The final point is higher education. Listen, we will have a partnership with higher education that just isn't rhetoric, it will be fact. Why do we need to do this? Right now in Vermont, job growth is the single most important thing we must achieve. Second, as we move from our addiction to oil to renewable energy, we will have a huge job creation opportunity, but we need to ensure that our kids are ready in terms of technology, engineering, to partner with the state to help make those jobs happen.
Senator Shumlin.
We're up. I just want to say thank you. In closing, I'll say it very briefly. The biggest challenge for education is that 13% of our children are living in poverty. Together with the 4 points that I've outlined in this partnership, we will have a governor who helps to create, with you, the most effective educational system in the country from pre-K through higher education. Thank you so much.